Hello, hello, hello everyone. It is Teresa from Teresa's Spot for Art. I love sharing art from my heart and teaching you how to create a little joy in your life through some fun, simple, and quick art projects. Wait, I just have to get this spider web. And it's not a prop spider web, it's a real spider web. Anyway, welcome to our continued video crafting and arts tutorials for 31 days of Halloween. We are doing some sugar skulls today, sugar skull couple. Let me turn you around and we will get started. I'm using an 8x8. I think it's 8x8. Let's measure it. I don't know if it's 8x8 or 10x10. 8x8. 8x8 square canvas for this one. I have out my rather well-worn used palette today. And we're going to get started. I have some not good orange. Let me do my bright orange. Some orange. And some bright yellow, and we're going to get to the background. Doke. Let me move this so I can see what I'm doing. And here we go. Okay, so I have about ½ inch, ¼ inch flat brush. I'm going to dip part in yellow, part in the orange, and I'm just going to start painting in my background. I'm using a fairly small brush because this is a fairly small canvas. Have to get on all these nooks and crannies. And I'm just painting in this blended background with our Halloween colors, with the yellow and the orange. I can pick up a little bit of white if I want to. I'm going to come in here and just put a line for her hair. I picked up the white because, and I've said this to you guys before, orange, red, yellow tend to be a little translucent. So if you add a little bit of white, that helps. So I'm just blending in this background. I have some yellow, I have some orange, I have white now, and I'm just filling in all the background. We don't want it to be monotone. I'm going around my peeps here, my sugar skull couple. You don't have to be super neat about it, because when we come in and we fill in our details, that's when we can make sure that all our lines are good and our edges are good. And we can fix his bow tie. Okay, so for now, I'm just coming in here and I'm filling in my background. When I want to get close and kind of like outline the shapes, I use my brush on the chisel edge. I'm not worrying about my borders. I'm not worried about messing up because we have to paint over this. We work from the bottom up. So we have the background, then we have the main components color blocking, then we add some details, then we add some more details. So as we work our way up, we can finish, enhance, complete, fix, tweak, anything. So while I'm just painting in the background here, I try to be neat, of course, but if I get some on my flowers or I get some on my couple, I am okay with that. Okay, and then I'm going to do my edges. I'm going to be using a lot of yellow and orange and black this month, and purple. You guys have seen I've done a few with the purple. What have you liked the best so far out of 31 Days of Halloween? Hard to pick, right? I know. Okay. So there we go. Let me just blend this a little bit more in here. Okay. We can make our background as wild as we like. I'm just putting in here this little blended in orange and yellow background. I could have made it more wispy. I could have made it more abstract, but I'm leaving it at that. Let me get a little corner right there by his little skinny neck. Okay, and I'm going to wash my brush. The next thing I'm going to do, and this part is optional to you, is going to paint in the faces in white. Now, some people would say the canvas is white. We don't need to paint in the faces. But I like to do it anyway. I want to paint in my faces. I want the finish of my entire canvas to match. And it won't match or be shiny from the sealer and the paint if you don't paint it. So it is totally up to you. If you're painting this with kids and you want to leave it, that is fine. Your art, your way. I am going to paint my faces and the little neck there. And again with her. I'm going right over the eyes. I should still be able to see my eyes, but that was just a placement holder. I put little ovals for him and circles for her. Okay. Now we'll let that dry a little bit. I'm not even going to go into my water. I'm going to go pick up some yellow now, and I'm going to paint in her hair. Now you could give her black hair. You could give her gray hair. You could give her, you could even give her like a ginger, a brunette. Totally up to you. Again, your art, your way. I'm painting in her yellow hair. And we're just color blocking. We have a lot more details to add. I'm just putting the color where it needs for now. Ooh. And then she's got this other curl here coming down behind and in here. Oh, but you know what? Now that I noticed this other curl, we have to do a little bit of background painting. So that's that, but I'll do that in a second. So this little spot right there is background. Now I'm taking a little bit of white with my yellow because this is her hair too behind her. But we want to make it different. So I just mixed a little bit of white. And now my value, my shade is off a little bit. And that is the part of her hair that's in the back. Okay? I'm going to come in here. I'm going to just add a little bit more. And there we go. I'm just going to pick up a little bit of orange on my yellow brush. And I'm just going to paint it in here. Just like I said, that is a little bit of background. And this way we can really see the curl in her hair. Okay? I think his little skinny arm comes like this too. And this is going to be background. Again, I'm just filling it in here, but I want my brush strokes to go sideways, horizontal, like they did on the rest of my background, even though it's just a spot down here where we're putting it. You want to know that it's background. Okay? And I'm going to wash my brush. This is such a fun little Halloween painting. I'm going to pick up some black and I'm going to start filling in his hat. Okay, and then our brim. I could paint the entire hat if I want, and then go right over the band with whatever color I'm going to add, or I can leave it like I'm leaving it now and then just come back and paint it in. Totally up to you. Either way, when we're dealing with little easy shapes like that, it's just as easy to either paint the whole thing and then paint over it, or come in and add it in later. I'm going to add it in later. All right, and we're going to do his outfit. Okay. I'm going to make sure we can see his bow tie there. I'm probably going to do his bow tie the same color that I do the band on the hat. And then I'm going to paint the edge of my canvas here black, because this is where his black shirt is. And that's that. Okay? Good for now. I'm going to rinse my brush. And I think I'm going to switch brushes. I think I'm going to pick up this little round brush. Alright, so I'm going to pick up my purple. I'm going to come in here, and the first thing I want to do is paint in the band on his hat. Okay, and then the bow tie. The bow tie is just 2 triangles pointed at each other. Okay. And I'm going to now do her outfit. I gave her a little bit of a V-neck. You'll see why in a minute. And now I'm painting in the rest of her top. Come down here. Now, if you wanted to leave this flower out, you could, and just give it her whole top. That's totally up to you. I'm going to put the flower in there because you know I like to paint flowers, and this way I can even show you guys how to paint the flower. Okay. So there we go. Working our way up. I'm going to wash my brush. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to get a little bit of purple and a little bit of white. And I'm going to add a little bit of design to the front of his jacket. Okay? It's almost like wearing a tuxedo. I just added white to it, so we would have a little bit of a different purple here. Okay. And I'm going to add white. I'm going to fill this in and make it lighter with some white. Okay. I'm just going to go right to my black. I'm not even going to wash my brush. And I'm going to put in some ovals for his eyes. And some circles for her eyes. Another thing I like about this painting, well, aside from the fact that it's Halloween, it has a very small color palette. I'm not one, and especially with you guys, I'm not one to do a painting where it has like a color list of like 15 different colors. No way. That would like make somebody nuts, including me. Okay, so I'm gonna wash my brush, and I'm gonna go back to the larger brush that I was using before, and I'm gonna work on my flower. I like to give my brush a nice squeeze, so I don't want to drip water onto my painting. So I have here some cobalt blue and some Bahama blue, and I'm putting both on my brush and coming in and painting in the petals to the flower. Okay. And I'm going to pick up both colors again, and I'm just going to put a circle. Oh, I want my circle a little bit darker. I want the center of my flower a little bit darker, so I'm just going to pick up a little bit darker paint, and I'm just squishing my brush and turning it in a circle both ways. Okay. Let's make these petals have a little bit of a different, there we go. They kind of got smushed together there at the bottom, so I wanted to make sure we can see that they're different petals. I'm going to add some detail to that as well. Okay. I'm going to wash my brush. I'm going to go back to my little brush. I'm going to go to my Bahama blue, and we're going to give these guys this little upside down heart nose. There's his, and there's hers. Don't forget, if you mess it up, if it's too big, if it's too small, well, if it's too small, you can make it bigger. If it's too big, you can just get white paint and paint over it. It is acrylic paint. You can fix anything. Okay, I'm going to get this light purple here, and I'm going to fill in her chest area. Okay, wash my brush. Now we're going to get to the fun part. We're going to start adding all the details. Okay, I'm going to get the medium-sized brush or the larger flat brush that I've been using. I'm going to dip it in the back, the handle in my purple paint, and I'm going to start adding in these dots around his eyes and then her eyes. I'm going to go around the whole thing, both eyes in purple. Make the black on the inside. There we go. And I'm going to switch to this one, and I'm just using the handle of my brush. I'm tapping it into the paint. Oh. And then I'm coming back to my canvas and making a circle. And then we're going to do the same thing to her. This way all of our circles, oops, are the same size. We're worrying about the brush and making mistakes. Okay? And now we're going to do her eyes. This time I'm not going to push as hard. His I was kind of putting a little effort into it to make them bigger. Hers I want smaller. So I'm just going to dot around the eye. Same procedure, just I'm making them smaller by just dotting and not full force with a twist, drawing on the dots like I did for him. I'm even doing 2 at a time for her. There we go. So that's done. Let me wipe off the handle of my brush. I'll put it back in my water for now. Okay, I'm going to go back to my Bahama Blue. I'm going to start putting in a little bit of detail on his outfit. A little zigzag on his suit. A little detail on the bow tie. Some buttons on his shirt. Okay, I'm going to wash my brush. I'm going to go into my white and I'm going to add in her neck and her ribs. She's wearing a V-neck, you can see through, and there she's got her rib cage because, right, they're skeleton, they're sugar skulls. And I'm also going to come in and add a little detail to her dress. Now while I have the white, I'm going to add a little bit of white to my petals. Now you can see how they're different petals down there. I'm going to add a little bit of white to the inside of my flower. I'm going to add a little bit of white highlight to her hair. While I have my brush, I'm even going to add a little bit of the blue to her hair because why not? They're coming together, you guys. I'm going to add a little bit of blue to his hat. Just dressing it up a little bit. I have blue on here, but I'm going to add a little bit of white highlight to this part of his hat right there. Okay. Now I'm going to wash my brush. And I want to add the insides of my eyes. This is going to be, I can't use the back of my brush because the back, oh, you know what I can use? So you can use your brush if you can be very light. I'm going to use this stylus that I have. I'm going to use it the same way I would use the back of the brush, but this is a little bit smaller, and I'm adding dots around the centers of the eyes, and I'm using this dauber. If you want to try and use the back of your brush, maybe a pencil point would work. Okay, and then I'm going to put blue in the middle of all these. So you could definitely use a pencil. This way it wouldn't be too big. And you would dip the pencil in and you'd have these little tiny dots. I happen to have this stylus. It's what I usually use when I'm tracing my canvases. You can make this painting in any palette colors that you wanted. It doesn't have to be these purples and blues and yellows. Totally up to you. Okay, I'm going to put this back. I'm going to go back to my liner brush and I'm going to start doing some outlining, but I want to add a little bit of water to my black paint because when I do the outlines, I want my outlines to be nice and thin, and I want my brush to really move smoothly. So I added a little bit of water to my black paint. I'm turning my brush here between my thumb and my forefinger, and I'm going to start doing my lining. Come back. A liner brush does not hold a lot of paint, so you have to constantly be coming back and filling it up with paint if you want to get the nice lines. I mean, a liner brush is small, so you can get into nooks and crannies and do lettering and outlining and detailing. But then, because it's small, it doesn't hold a lot of paint. Okay. I'm going to add the gaps in here for the jaw. I put one in the middle, and then I split the other two sides. You can do more, you can do less, and then go across. Okay, now I'm going to do her pick up a little bit more paint. I did get a little wide there. We'll see if I'm not going to worry about it, or if I come back in and fix it with some yellow. We'll see. Okay, and again, one in the middle, and then on either side, and then horizontal. Okay, I'm going to outline the nose. And this does not have to be perfect by any means. This is fun art, super fun Halloween design. Okay. A little bit more water. I gotta get a little bit more black paint going in here. And I'm going to now outline her hair. This way it'll really pop. Oops. Spilled some black paint there. I don't know if I'm making a little enough. Just wipe it up, let it dry, and then we can fix it. If you wanted to, you could do this part with the Posca paint pen after. Totally up to you. Sometimes you guys know I get quiet when I'm concentrating. Doop. Okay. You can go ahead and outline the flower if you want to, or you can leave it. Totally up to you. I'm going to give it a little bit of outline. There we go. And then our center. Okay. I have to fix that, and I have to fix where her face got a little too fat up there. So the first thing I'm going to do with this top part with her face is I'm going to pick up some white, and I'm going to cover this black line with white. Okay? I'm going to do the same thing down here. I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to fill this in. This one's still a little wet, so I'm just going to leave that for a minute. Okay? I'm going to add a little bit of highlight to the noses, to the hat, to his shirt, to his bow tie. I might put a little bit of black in the hair. Just a little. There we go. Plenty, plenty, plenty. Plenty, plenty, plenty. I'm going to wash my brush. And I'm going to get my yellow from over here, and I'm going to go over this. A little bit more. Okay, that's one. And then that's two. Okay. Still letting that dry. And a little bit more detail up here. Dark clothes. Wash my brush. Go back to my yellow. It's a little wet. Let me grab my dryer. Okay, just hit that for about, what, 15 seconds with my heat gun. I'm gonna go back to my yellow. And now I can cover right over this part of the hair. That part. And then this part where I got a little bit, oh, this was the part behind the neck that had a little bit of white in it. Up to about there. There. And then got the really bright yellow. Okay. I'm gonna wash my brush. And go back into my black now and control myself. See how easy that was to fix, you guys? Come in here. Get a little part to her hair. And that is much better. Okay. Where's my brush? I'm going to get my blue. I'm going to put my blue back in here. I'm going to get my white and put my white back in here. Then I'm going to pick up a little bit of black and put a black curl back in here. And there we have it. I want this part right here a little bit brighter for his shirt. Wouldn't this make a fun invitation for a costume party? What do you guys think? Right. And last but not least, I'm going to take my business card over here. I'm going to put it in my black paint. Let's see if I can scrounge any more paint out of here. I think I can. So this is what I'm doing. I have some black paint here, and I'm just sticking one edge of my business card into the black paint. And I'm going to come to my sides and I'm going to scrape it on, almost like I'm framing the picture. Well, I kind of am. I'm just putting the one edge, the long edge, in the paint, and I'm coming back and I'm holding it on the side, and I'm just like I'm scraping off the paint from the business card right onto the canvas. And there we go. Let me turn you guys around real quick. And what do you think of that? Aren't they fun? Thanks for joining me. Stay tuned for more of 31 Days of Halloween.